Good morning, it's 8:31, January 26th. We're here for a county administrator update.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm not sure if Rob is online. I know he'll be just, okay, he should be here. He texted me. He had to stop me, Freda. He was gonna be a couple of minutes late, but he should be here. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, we have Zach Kennedy joining us for a legislative update. So I'm gonna start with a clerk of the board update for anything you would like to discuss.
Good morning. Agreement for administration of juvenile court. Apparently the board has had some questions regarding that agreement, so we found that and I emailed it to you last week for discussion. It's on Tom's agenda because we didn't know exactly where you wanted to speak to that on. Crystal Burns did call off her meeting today, so she will not be here at her 10:30 meeting. So whatever discussion the board wanted to have about that.
Is the 10:30 meeting canceled or is assistant gonna show up?
No, she's not going to show up.
So that's
Jerry Hinkle, that's her name, Jerry.
So she's not, so that meeting's canceled.
Correct.
So I'm not sure what discussion.
We could probably just shoot an email to the office. I think just if we continue, if they want to provide oversight, I think we can just ask. And I think that's what the email, they wanted to know what it was about. Because we met
Yes.
with them not that long ago. Just that they have two fairly new judges. I sent an email and just ask if they want to, if they would like to provide oversight to youth services or if they want to continue the board. I think we could ask. But I would like to continue treating Swahil as a department head because I don't want to get that call at the Saturday night call or whatever that we can't find. But I mean, she kind of handles everything.
I just think you have to decide before we take that action, what you're gonna do with the fallout. There's gonna be fallout when it's a no-win situation. So Hale's not gonna wanna take a decrease in pay if she's no longer department head. So you freeze her wages where they are. You've got two other people who are gonna say, well, then we should be making the same as her because now there's no difference. So.
But there is a difference, Tom.
Okay.
We are not in the office with her. We don't give her a daily direction. She doesn't report to us daily. She reports basically to you.
Mhm.
She is treated like a department head. She runs her department really without, unless Kevin's providing oversight, she will let us know if there's a serious matter, but as far as the day-to-day functions of that, she runs it. She doesn't have an elected official sitting in her office helping her
I agree.
overseeing that, so.
I
She's
agree.
completely separate from.
Well, and this is not the first time this has come up.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I think last week when I brought it up, it was just to let you know that it will be coming up again.
And I think if they all have the opportunity to apply for a department head, if that's what they would like.
Okay.
So the email then that you want me to send is to the judges if they want to continue supervision of juvenile court.
If
Is
they
that
would
correct?
like us to continue the supervision, or if
Or
they
you
would
to
like
continue,
to,
that's
yeah.
right.
Because I think we're more than happy to do it, but we'll give them that offer.
All right. So you'll send that email.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb.
All right.
Thanks, Barb.
That'll take care. Would you copy me into Cora on that?
Absolutely.
Document recording fees.
That would be me.
Okay.
We're due to update the document recording fees for the entities that we send that funding to for 2026. And I just need to know if you guys are wanting to keep the percentages the same, or if you wanted to look at the agreements and restructure the percentages.
We actually have to have a recommendation from the homeless task force. That is one of their duties, like a core duty of theirs.
We looked at this last year.
Yeah.
and there wasn't anything in the RCW that said that the task force had to make a recommendation on it. It was just about the 5-year plan.
No, there was, unless they removed it, but that was the reason of the task force. for that funding? Are we talking the 2160, House Bill 2160?
The, yes, the 2160.
So, yeah, because we looked at getting, there was the homeless task force, it was, sometimes it's inactive or it's not. It's hard to get people to be on the homeless task force and move it. Yeah, they do we had a 10-year plan, now I believe it's a 5-year plan, and it's supposed to go in front of the board, they vote on it, make a recommendation and send it to us. I can do some research and find it, but that was one of their key duties. Was to, and I think they're pretty active now. Caitlin, are you the clerk for that?
Barb took over as of 2026. So they started last year meeting once a month so they could discuss the update for the 5-year homeless housing plan. And then this year Barb was going to bring up with them if they wanted to continue meeting once a month or if they wanted to go to every other month.
Yeah, usually it's every other month or quarter. I think it's quarterly.
It was quarterly, but they had expressed a dislike of that because when they only met once a quarter, you did not have enough attendance to get anything done. There was not hardly ever a quorum in attendance to do anything. So that was a good thing with the monthly meetings, is that if you didn't have a quorum this month, you usually had a quorum the next month. When it comes to the RCW for the document recording fees, I'm not seeing any. It talks about how you have to use it for the, supplementing the homeless housing plan and, administrative costs related to the county's homeless housing plan. But I don't see anything in here that actually says that the homeless housing task force needs to make a recommendation about it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the recording fees themselves? What brought this up? Is there a need to change the recording fees? Are we short somehow? Is it just?
No, it just has not been addressed in a very long time. And these agreements are looked at and renewed every year. And the last time it was brought up, the commissioners didn't want the homeless housing task force making any of the changes. They wanted to look over it themselves. And so I just needed to confirm that that's how it was going to be.
When is the next renewal date?
Well, it's never really been on time.
So what's the anniversary date of the last time it was renewed?
February.
Okay, so we have between now and February.
Yeah.
Can you send me a copy of those so I can see?
Okay, it says the key responsibilities of local homeless task forces: develop plan development, create and update 5-year plan, funding oversight, review and recommend how to spend local, state, and federal funds, e.g. homeless housing assistance grants for programs, performance tracking, policy advising, and community coordination. These tasks are mandated to align with the Washington State Homeless Housing Strategic Plan 2024 through 2029, ensuring consistency across jurisdictions.
So oversight, but not.
I apologize, where did you get that from?
It is an overview of what they do, because I'm looking at the RCW 43-185C-160, and I just Googled it.
And there's not, I'm looking at that RCW right now, and it does not reference the oversight of funds.
But I can assure you, we have,
Yes.
that was one of the duties, because I was sitting on it. So I guess we don't have to, but that has been a component. And they just make a recommendation.
Well, between now and February, let's take a look at those and then decide, number one, if they even need to be changed, and number two, maybe we can get a better understanding of who should or shouldn't change that, and then make sure that everybody's square on that going forward.
Well, my question is which document recording fees are we talking about? All the document recording fees that we charge? Is that?
We get a percentage. Part of the recording fees surcharge is the state distributes out to Department of Commerce, which in turn we get through the CHG grant. and then what the county takes. And we also have a percentage of the admin that we get.
So we get, I want to say, I think one has, there's two different pots. One has $200,000, one has like 600 to 800,000.
So it's.
I'm
substantial.
asking Carrie because it's been a while.
That I don't know for sure what's in
Okay.
those pots right now.
Okay,
Because accounting was like 6 months behind on sending out their payments. And then when they did it, they only sent out, I think City of Moses Lake told me that they only got 3 months. And I don't know if they've received the rest of the
recall?
back months,
okay, do you
so.
recall last year?
Mhm.
The city of Moses Lake does, because they're the largest county and the largest city in the county. There was new legislation in like 2017, 2018, that there's earmarked a portion that goes just to Moses Lake. So they kind of skimmed it off the top and it goes directly to them. That's why Moses Lake will have a portion of that. And we've kind of calculated with population, or Daryl did the calculation, which took a bit of time, but I think in my mind, it's like 200,000 is one pot, 700,000, 600,000 to 800,000 is the other. But annually, it would be what we did last year.
I apologize. I wasn't trying to step on you or interrupt. I
No.
was just noting it was more substantial than I realized. I didn't know.
Well, and Carrie will know from last year what I'm just going by memory.
So we'll look into that and then figure that out.
Yeah.
And somebody's got travel fund approval?
Oh, yeah, so last week, the commissioners had discussed the travel fund and how you wanted to manage that, but then when you guys approved consent, you approved the creation of that new travel fund, that resolution. It was approved on consent last week, so we're trying to see how you guys wanna go about correcting this. Technically, you don't have to do anything with the fund. The resolution was signed and approved. So we're wondering if you guys are wanting to just let it stand and not touch it, or if you would like staff to create a resolution to rescind that, or to amend it, or how you would like to proceed.
I believe the decision was to follow current travel policy, not, we don't, prosecuting attorney's office said we couldn't set a separate fund and we couldn't do what we talked about doing in budget.
Yes,
So
I understand.
I didn't realize that got signed.
Okay, I'm looking for it. It somehow slipped through here.
Yeah, I don't,
It should have been item number 2 or 3, I believe, on consent last week.
Yep. Sorry, bypass that one.
so.
Yeah, Pelton 113, approved resolution for creation of new fund 171, current travel expense fund to be used for 2026 travel expense.
So we need a resolution to rescind that.
Is that what the commissioners would like to do?
Yeah,
Probably,
because I believe we can't use it, we can't utilize
you
it.
can't do it.
Here we are, trying to be proactive. Sorry.
Anything else from the clerk of the board?
Sure.
Karen?
No, I'm good.
Hey, Carrie, we can ask Rob if that's something but it's, they are the strategy for shelters, housing and outreach from the State Department of Commerce is where that came from, Carrie. For the housing, homeless task force.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to my agenda here. So the first thing I'm talking about is Baker Tilly audit. We've talked about this, we've gone back and forth. It's been a little bit of a moving target. Last Wednesday, Decorah and I met with them again. I had invited Decorah just because it had been a moving target and I wanted somebody else's eyes and ears on it. So, and I think we have a good plan moving forward. The conversation was more about where and how we start more than exactly what we want them to do, because it's been so difficult to really pin down what it is that we have to find. I've met with Daryl about it, I've met with Carrie about it. So we're going to begin with an internal control review, and this will be a countywide review focusing on the 2025 fiscal year. For lack of a better term, this is going to turn over all the rocks and see where it leads. It's going to guide the fiscal audit that we may have to do. And that will be followed closely, if not having some overlap with a payroll internal audit. There continues to be questions about our payroll processes and their accuracy, even as recent as last week. A lot of questions about the accrual of sick and annual leave not being correct on pay stubs and so forth. So this intends to ensure those are being done properly. Both audits also focus on best practices for an office operating in the Tyler environment. As a reminder, Baker Tilly is currently working with another Washington County, is strongly familiar with state auditing practices and has in-depth knowledge of the Tyler platform. The internal control review is $45,000 and the payroll review is $40,000. I expect there will be some type of training or possible audits at the end of these audits. So we should be prepared to spend more funds if that comes to fruition. And maybe we'll get lucky and nothing will be found, but I doubt that. I'm waiting on an engagement letter that has the draft watermark removed, and if acceptable with the board, I'll sign that engagement letter as soon as I get it, and they can start in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
So can we do the 40,000 and then move to the payroll one? Because I don't know if.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
That's
two
exactly
step.
what we're
Okay.
doing. So, and I have the master services agreement that I can show you. It's still got the draft watermark. The only difference is this is project 1 payroll internal audit. You'll get down to project number 2, the internal review. Those are flip-flopped. It's project 1 will be the internal review.
And speaking with them, they thought it would be too much for staff to do both at the same time. So to start with one
Yeah.
first. Be overwhelming.
The board do I have a couple of head nods? Is the board okay with me signing that engagement letter when I receive it and getting that scheduled?
Yeah, have you talked to Michelle about this?
I've talked to her once. She was pretty upset. I will remind her of it. I've brought it up in the past couple of meetings. It's been mentioned with Mandy in the room. She hasn't said anything about it. So the hope is that they are going to be open-minded about it and realize that this is not an attack on them. It is the county commissioners, the legislative body doing their due diligence to ensure that from a financial standpoint, we are where we should be.
Mhm. Yeah, I would just, since it is a department head, that this is over.
I'll provide a copy to
Okay.
Michelle.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm okay moving forward, but I just want to make sure that Michelle is on board and it's not a surprise.
What if she's not on board?
I don't like the fact that we have to spend money to do this, but we have to do it.
I agree.
I think we can set up a meeting then. But I don't feel that we need to, I think we need her help because if we don't have her on
I
board
agree.
and helping,
I agree.
we're gonna have a bigger problem. So I think all of our leadership, we need to include those that it impacts. Do you want this back?
No, you can hold on to
Okay.
that if you like. So unless you don't want it, I can take it back if you don't want it. So
Well, if you, she'll probably, I'll keep in case there's any questions that are raised from it. No, I think she's aware of it. I know she's aware of it, or I just don't know the depth of it. I just
yeah,
would appreciate her being on board and being a team player.
and I would 100% agree. She needs to be on board. The problem is, you know, if she's not on board, what's the legislative body do? Ignore it. You know, I'm not trying to be adversarial. I'm trying to be pragmatic. We have to do an audit because nobody is confident. So you know, yes, I'm hoping that she is a willing partner. I'm hoping she's a
We
willing.
just have a lot of new accounting heads and leads, and
Absolutely.
I think it's just. we can
A
develop
large
map.
portion of this addresses exactly that.
So-
This is how you perform best practices in the Tyler environment with the staff that you have.
Got a new staff member that we have to hire.
Yeah.
The fun just never ceases.
It never stops.
So Cindy, do you have a pulse on where she's at on
I know she's aware of it.
Yeah.
But I
it? She
haven't
hasn't
had
talked to you about
some,
how she feels
no, I
about it?
haven't had a lot of discussion. I just think, but any department head that we're gonna go into their department
Oh,
and
sure.
we look at it, we need buy-in and we need to let them know. I don't feel
And
like
I-
it'd be
and I-
appropriate to surprise.
Absolutely.
I would agree with you with this caveat.
Yeah.
This caveat.
But we also- we need
Is, yes, I agree. We don't want it to be a surprise. We need willing partners.
Yeah,
The
everybody's gotta
financial standing of this county is the responsibility of the county commissioners, even though it's under the auditor. We decide we have to have an audit, she needs to be a willing partner. So, and I don't want to surprise, and I don't want to sound adversarial, but our due diligence is what is required here. So,
And I think, you as, both of you and Rob as her peers, I think having that unity with the four of you would be helpful.
Yeah.
Having that conversation of, so she doesn't feel attacked.
yeah,
and-
and I, when I explained to
not the
her,
point.
when I originally met with her and told her, I said, this is not an attack, this is just a concern. She was angry, she's like, well, whatever, well, I won't repeat what she said, but she wasn't happy about it, and I understand that. I would feel that way, I would be very defensive. I tried to turn the conversation into a positive way,
I'm sure it feels threatening, but
yeah.
I think that there's just been, we've all talked about it, so much turnover in that department that you lose some of that historical knowledge. And having a third party be able to come in and look at all of the pieces and go, okay, this makes sense. I think that gives the board, and it should give the auditor confidence to move forward and feel secure in where we're at.
Well,
And
and
we're-
this is not our accounting department upstairs. It is, Renew is new.
Yeah, there's been
Public
lots
Works
of
is new. I mean,
Public
We
Works,
just have a lot of
absolutely.
new players, and maybe how we were doing it is the correct way, maybe it's not. So, I just think,
And-
so I look at this as a positive moving, but I think just the way it could be
The
delivered.
message, yes.
Yeah, however the message is, it's not that we have.
And also to remind the board, Public Works did request this, so it was not a surprise to them at all. They requested it. And Renew is aware of it in the CAB meetings. Everybody, all the department heads are on board with this, think it's a great idea. So it's just something that's needed. I'm going to move on to an email I received from Rob Carlindsey on Saturday. This email is from the communications manager of the DOT North Central Region. This is a somewhat update confirming the continued closure of the I-90 exit 174 Hanson Road overpass with no estimated time to reopen. As noted, last Monday, January 19th, our bridge team completed some additional discovery work to confirm the levels of deterioration and have been working to develop a repair plan. There are options, but none that mean a quick reopening, unfortunately. In my work with, in my work with public, comparisons with the timeline of the I-90 Bullfrog overpass have been made, and unfortunately for several reasons, Hanson Road will not be a quick fix due to the difference between the damage done by a bridge strike at Bullfrog versus the deterioration at Hanson Road. But with the repair plans not yet confirmed, we can't speculate on a schedule. We expect more clarity on timelines, and in the coming days, we'll keep sharing updates with you. We recognize the challenges this is putting on the community and understands that may need to make plans and adjustments based on this closure. The communications team is working on a webpage with a deeper dive explanation of the problem and repair work milestones. I'll share that link when the page is ready, hoping for Tuesday or Wednesday, January 27th, 28th. In the meantime, the travel alert on our real-time travel map has my office number at wsdot/travel/realtime/map. The comms team responds to all of those calls. If you are hearing from people who have questions for us, please point them to me. I'll also help them sign up for updates to stay in the loop on our work. Let me know if you have any questions. Lauren Lobset, Communications Manager, North Central Region. So we continue on with a closed bridge, and we'll see where it ends up. I received an email or a call from Labor and Industries late Friday afternoon. A complaint has been filed against McGee Plumbing, who is the plumbing subcontractor for the CSHR building, for a prevailing wage infraction. This is an active investigation. I'll find out more today when I talk to the folks at Labor and Industries. Friday afternoon, we were asked to have kind of a snap urgent meeting with Clear Risk. It was requested late Friday afternoon. I have no idea what the content is. Rob will be joining us for that meeting at 1 o'clock today in the administrative conference room next door. I have to come up with official names for those. Something. And meetings in DC. I should have, again, I spoke with Congressman Newhouse's office this morning. They're supposed to get back to me and have our meeting times slotted, so we'll know well ahead of time if that's something that we need to put on the, well, we should probably put on our schedule here, so it's an advertised meeting. Merchant McIntyre is planning on meeting with us, either individually or as a group. I'll find out more about that. They are trying to set up meetings with Patty Murray's office and Maria Cantwell's office. And we're looking into federal funding opportunities for the various departments. That meeting is coming up soon since they did their deep dive with all the various department heads. I'm also looking for funding for a portion of the coroner's office. As per the new energy code, I'm required to have a solar component, and I'm trying to get a grant for that. It's going to be somewhat expensive, and we're trying to mitigate that cost. Let's see. With that solar, I guess I'm going to reach out to, I think her name Hannah Norton, the gal at the community relations person over at Silicon Ranch. I want to ask them about their solar panels, what they generate. I need to get a better understanding of what we're looking at the coroner's office. I mean, somebody tells me I need 6,500 watts of solar. I don't know if that's 5 panels or 100 panels. And I don't really have an idea of the cost. So I'm trying to figure that out. We're still working with the city of Moses Lake on some of the covenants. And I had a call late again Friday afternoon to call somebody back at the city. I think regarding a double check valve that they want us to put outside, which isn't going to work.
Jim might know what. those
No,
panels
I met with the new fire marshal for the city of Moses Lake on Friday. I gave a tour of the jail. It was a good tour. I had a couple of I had Jerry and some other folks from the building department, but I had the new fire marshal for the city of Moses Lake, and I had the director of MAC dispatch there. And we spent a good 2 hours wandering the jail, discussing collaborative efforts, and of course the systems of the jail and things like that. But the MAC issues that are going on right now, I'm now starting to get involved with just because of the ongoing frustration.
I thought they had that resolved. It's
not resolved. And I'd like to, probably go into an executive session to discuss that.
It is.
Just,
okay.
oh, so, yeah, and that doesn't have to be now. It can be whenever, so.
Okay. So then they were getting this dialed in.
Yeah. And let's see. So if Zach Kennedy's online, I'd love to have him join us to talk legislation. I know that Rob, just as he's coming online, hopefully he can hear me. Rob did text me this weekend about Senate Bill 6239 requiring arbitration for tort claims against the state of Washington and a subdivision. That is scheduled for a public hearing tomorrow at 8 a.m. and an executive session on the 29th. He talked to me, texted me about HB 2393 concerning correctional facility liability for inmate injuries resulting from voluntary controlled substance use. So I would like to find out more about that and what he was thinking. And also HB 1592 concerning public defense services. That was sent to appropriations in February of 25 and by resolution. It has, what did they say? Retained in the present status, which means the Appropriations, Ways and Means and the Senate committee can then choose to schedule for a hearing or executive session, or they can later move it on, but it's not automatically advanced. So it's just eligible to move, not guaranteed to get action. It's just simply keeps its prior position. With that, Zach is online.
Good morning, Zach.
Morning, Zach.
9 o'clock. We're
Good morning. You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you well. Did you catch all those numbers?
I did. It was really hard to hear. For some reason, my computer isn't picking you guys up very much, but let me see.
How is that? Is that better?
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, okay. I'll talk like this one.
Tom is literally talking to the ceiling. Talking to the ceiling. And that's you, Zach. He's talking to a higher
Yeah,
power.
that's right. I'll just stare at the ceiling now. So sorry about that.
There we go. All right. So, can you tell me? I caught one of the numbers, 2393, that you guys were looking at.
Senate Bill 6239, House Bill 2393 and 1592. Various department heads, we're in total, we're probably tracking 35 or 40 separate bills that affect the various department heads here. So this is just something that Commissioner Jones had texted me late last week, and I was going to follow up on.
Got it. Yeah. No, so I mean, obviously we're coming down to cutoff is next Wednesday for policy. Um, a lot of the bills that, of course, that you guys are concerned with are some of the most contentious ones. And some of these may end up just being, they might just say, hey, this is gonna be a budget bill and leave it at that. And then they'll let us know what they do with it at the very end. Because, I mean, you guys have seen what's going on with the law enforcement stuff, tort reform, and, you're also looking at the correctional facility stuff. And we had some good conversations about all of these at the Wasatch lobbyist meeting last Thursday because we all get together in the basement. And it's really a charged environment, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, they're not really listening. They're not really hosting meetings with us. They're not even taking meetings. It's kind of like there's a bunch of stuff going on in the background. I think they're trying to figure out the budget, and then they're going to start scheduling these things. If they do, 2393 isn't on, it's not on the schedule yet. Obviously, you're looking at 1592. That's the Public Defense Services. I think Wasatch's vote Thursday at the steering committee would apply to that bill as well in terms of the negotiations for public defense funding. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it sounds like they're going to set it down for this year. So they're probably not going to pick it up in the budget. Um, it's just there's just not a lot going on. If they're not getting an agreement, I think they're going to set it down. And with the tort claims against the Washington subdivisions, I think that one it may have some legs. We'll see how it comes out tomorrow at 8 a.m. in terms of the conversation at the hearing. So the other one I sent you guys that you want to look at, what is I put zombie bill in here. It's 1622. So this is where AI bargaining would come in, and any AI tool you guys would use would trigger a collective bargaining event. So you might want to keep an eye on that one. We thought we killed it good last year. It just popped up Thursday.
Is that, Zach, is that a House bill, Senate bill? Is that?
House Bill 1622. It's actually in gross substitute House Bill because they worked on it last year and we had it killed.
Okay. So can you expand on that a little bit? I mean, you're talking about an AI tool that is doing more than just like search functions or helping people write letters. I mean, this is something that's actually helping generate a work product in detail, like policy, or what? Can you expand? Tell me more about that.
So I think the background behind it is they're looking at from the employee standpoint that when an AI engine comes in and does, say, billing, for example, well, you're taking a job away from a human.
I gotcha.
To do that, right? So basically, this one specifically talks about if the adoption of the AI, modifies the effect of the employee's wages or performance evaluations. So they're really looking at how it impacts the actual employee when you implement an AI tool, because they don't want to end up with a bunch of robots doing employees' works and nobody has jobs.
Sure.
So, but from the collective bargaining standpoint, like if you guys started using, if let's say one of your current software vendors included a new AI chatbot or something, and it could be used for something in the county, that would trigger the collective bargaining. So it'd be completely out of your control in some cases with just a software update.
Even if it was a chat bot on the public-facing website to help the public get to a department faster?
I mean, there's your receptionist job getting modified.
But we don't have a receptionist. I'm the receptionist. I'm number 5 on the keyboard, so.
No wonder we get so many complaints.
That's right.
But you know what I'm getting at. So if
I
they
do.
can make the case that it does impact an individual's performance or wages, performance evaluations, then yes, that's a collective bargaining event.
So it's a little concerning to hear you say that they won't even take meetings with you guys. I'm going to ask a leading question. So, with the state legislature dropping bills right now to thwart the citizens' initiative process, where they don't even want citizens to be able to take part in the legislative process. Do you guys really feel like you've got anybody listening to you? That was a leading. I told you it was going to be a leading question.
I mean, it's an interesting question, but there's a lot of depth to it, right? So yeah, of course, people are listening. I don't know if they're going to push that one through. I mean, it's an election year. It's really probably not the best time to try and do that. Not that any time ever is a good time to do that, right? But I don't know if they're going to push that one through or not. But what happens is, especially in this super, super low budget environment where we're very, very short, what happens is they say, well, okay, great. If you're not going to support us on this, then, we're probably not going to find funding for that new bridge so you can get to the town in your district, kind of thing. I mean, and that's the kind of, it's, I don't want to say it's quite that overt, but I mean, that stuff happens. They know that their bill won't move if they don't support the general party as a whole. So that's kind of what you're seeing there. The Democratic Party is probably there's from one end of it to the other end of it in Washington right now is probably a bigger difference between the Democrat and Republican Party. So being able to kind of parse out and figure out what they're doing internally in that caucus, it is a tough one. So it's hard to answer that question.
No, it's more, I mean, more opinion than an answer, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, and I've talked with members in the majority party that have said, "Oh man, I can't believe this is happening." And then you go, "Well, did you vote for the tax on that group? Did you vote to raise their prices?" Well, yeah, but it was just part of the whole thing. Not how they view it. So I mean, they are feeling it in the donations right now, and when you're not helping a group, maybe they're gonna pull back their money. That's politics, I guess. So it's gonna get a lot better looking here once we get to the end of next week. Because once we get through this first policy cutoff, there's not gonna be much left. I mean, they said there's nothing that's gonna cost money. There's a bill here and there, some carryovers, but it's all budget after this. And I'm guessing that by middle of February, first week in February, probably the majority of the legislature is going to be pretty bored because they're not going to be letting the room.
Well, and it's a short session. Isn't this year a short session?
It is a short session. That's why after the policy cutoff, you end up.
lost you.
There we go. Yeah, after the policy cutoff, you end up with, everybody's hopes and dreams have been killed, and now it's all budget and finance. So the finance committees, so appropriations, ways and means, those guys they'll meet and they'll be pretty busy. But other than that, there's not going to be a lot of busy.
Okay, Zach, I don't know where I heard this rumor, but they're talking about doing a 32-hour work week, and anything over 32 hours will trigger overtime. Is that a proposed bill?
So we actually addressed that at the lobbyist meeting. I don't remember the bill number because, yeah, you're spot on. They're trying to lower the number of hours. But it doesn't sound like that one's gonna move, so we didn't spend a lot of time on it. Sorry, I don't remember the
No,
actual
that's
bill
good.
number. We just kind of glazed over it.
Yeah, that would, I mean, for an employee, that would be awesome, but for every employer out there, it's just not in the budget, and that would be devastating.
Yeah, I mean, and really what I've seen it do empirically, where you don't have to have a W-2 employee, people are basically putting their employees on 1099 and going contract with everybody,
Wow.
as much as they can.
CRS.
So, I mean, the real world effects of what some of this policy does, right? Um, the other thing that I did put in the email that is worth talking about, it is a rumor, how this stuff gets around, but the capital budget committees, the chairs and vice chairs, really aren't hearing a whole lot about the Public Works Assistance Fund sweep that they've got planned in all three budgets. So, that's something that obviously we're sharing that that's a bad idea. Crab is same thing, that nobody really likes it, but if they hear from commissioners, it might be worth mentioning to them.
Zach, I don't think I received that email.
Oh dear. Okay. I will check and make sure I get it to you because Barbara put us both on an email thread, if I remember right.
I'll double check it. I'll I just don't, I could be mistaken, but I don't remember reading that.
Yeah. No, I'll get it to you here. I will as soon as we're done. I got another meeting coming up here in just a few, but as soon as I'm done with that, I'll get it over to you.
All right. I appreciate that, Zach.
Yeah, of course. But
have
have a look. Yep.
Oh, our deputy clerk of the board's got it. She's going to forward it to
She
me.
can find everything and anything.
That's wonderful. But yeah, the other one that's going on, and I don't know, this probably isn't a big deal for you. It is for a lot of the border counties here, is 2250. That's a charity care bill. People coming into town to get, say, a knee replacement or something that's completely elected. It doesn't mess with your emergency services. It's just elective surgeries and things, treatments, and then they bounce and they're just gone, and then you got to go after Medicaid for the money, and it's really hurting some of the hospitals. So I don't know if your guys' hospitals have any issues with that, but it'd be good to support it if
We
they
do.
do.
Quincy, is that House bill or Senate bill?
House Bill 2250.
Okay, that's what I wrote down. Yeah, Quincy Valley or Quincy Medical, they have a kind of a seasonal crowd that shows up during concerts. I think they're getting that where it's much better than
Ah.
books.
I think Samaritan's got that to some extent as well.
Got it. Okay, no, that actually makes sense. I didn't think about the concert goers.
Yeah. To help mitigate that, they put their own medical facility out at the gorge, so it's been a huge help. Huge.
Yeah, that's good. Good. Well, and so I mean, maybe forward that to them or have a look at it. I mean, the everybody would appreciate some support on that one for sure. So outside of that, I mean, this year is really kind of weird. Like I said, we got zombie bills popping up. We've got the sheriffs fighting, the legislature. I mean, it's just a little bit crazy right now. A lot of land use stuff, some taxes, things like that. But once we get through this next Wednesday, it's going to become extremely clear how little they're going to do. So, and House Joint Resolution 4210. That'll be an interesting one to watch because they are talking about going to a full-time legislature.
Oh, wow.
I know. Look how much good they could do for us if they were there all year.
You'd never know what's going to happen.
That's kind of scary.
Well, most
Yeah.
people all year.
Yeah, that one's a little concerning for us. So,
Well, they'd have to raise it and make it a full-time. That would be a big increase on the salary.
it would probably cost a significant amount more money, or they'd just be able to meet year round and take
Okay.
long breaks. Who knows?
That would force issues for legislators like Mike Volz, who's also the Spokane County Treasurer, trying to wear two hats. He'd probably have to make a decision what he wants to do.
Probably, that's a very, very good point. So, so yeah, we'll see what they end up doing with that. Some of this stuff is a lot of posturing right now. So, the yeah, just look through the list that I sent you guys. If there's anything in there that really pops up, let me know. Um, right now we're just kind of helping out where we can and trying to stave off the nasty stuff.
Well,
Did
thanks
you
for-
bring up the bills I sent you?
I did.
Okay.
Cool.
I did, yeah. That, and Rob's just joined us, so that was requiring arbitration for tort claims against the state of Washington subdivisions, Senate Bill 6239. Concerning correction facility liability, House Bill 2393, and then 1592 concerning the public defense services. So,
Got it. Yeah, those are some of the hot button ones this year that they're trying to figure out what to do. Even as of Thursday night when we had our lobbyist meeting, we were still trying to figure out which way those ones are going to go. And of course, Wasac is registering an opinion and trying to be at the table for the negotiations if appropriate, but still up in the air right now. So it's all going to come down to the budget on those ones. Everyone.
Can you say, is Wasac saying pro or con specifically on any of those three, or are they, are they solid on those, or are they waffling on those? Where are they standing on the three of those?
I think they're all solid.
They're all solid, yeah.
Yeah, they're all solid on them, but at the same time, they're kind of heading towards solidly with concerns, because we're playing that political game too, is they don't want to sign in like hard opposed to it and, irritate the sponsors or the advocates of it, because they know they're probably not going to move and it's going to be an interim project to really work on. But they will be back next year and they will be refined.
Okay.
So that's kind of what they're looking at with that and going, how do we not piss off the sponsor, but still make sure that they understand what our concerns are on these.
Sounds good. Thanks, Zach.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Thank you. And I'll be in committees tomorrow and all that good stuff. So if you want to sign in on anything, let me know.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
All righty. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, the last thing I had was, I was talking about the text you sent me with the three House bills, or the three bills. You also texted me that you'd like to see a 3-year fiscal plan to stay within budget. I have a framework for that, actually. It's just gonna take a lot of work. So I'll send you a copy of the framework.
It was just interesting, because everybody at Wasac is obviously having issues with their budgets, but some of them are worse than ours. And just listening to what they were doing, because, if you don't have a plan of how much reserves you can pull, you're gonna run out of them. So they just had a couple of them had a 3-year plan, and I liked that.
Do you remember which ones?
No.
Okay.
Like a 3-year plan.
3-year fiscal plan, because if you're gonna keep pulling your reserve,
Yeah.
you need to, start telling, your department heads elected, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're gonna go down 3% per year the next 3 years in your budget.
Is that just in your mind that you're calculating this and
No.
it's actual?
No, I didn't give any percent.
No, but I mean, as a commissioner, instead of like we are telling everybody, this is not sustainable.
Yeah, it's just like, let them see it and then make sure that they understand that.
Well, and I think
coming.
from a larger point of view, it's a great idea because every budget year we're reactive to what's happening. And this is a proactive stance where we're getting out in front of it so that it's quite not as reactive come August, September. So I think it's a great idea. It's going to take some work.
Yeah, we have to get centered and then go.
I like that approach,
Um,
especially getting this completed before Daryl leaves because he's a big part of our fiscal budget.
Well, and that's, again, another part of that audit. So I had 2 head nods that I could go ahead and sign the agreement with Baker Tilly. I'm just waiting for the draft watermark to be removed. And we had discussed, an internal control review as the start, turning over the rocks, and then kind of starting a payroll review, some overlap as we finish the internal control review, start with the payroll review, and then see where we are at the end of that. So,
Cool.
all right, that's all I have for you. Anything for me?
Both for doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you want to go into executive session and discuss
Well, Max stuff?
Max stuff?
No,
No?
I can just speak offline about that. I'll
Okay.
talk to Rob about it a little bit more.
We're good.
Good.
We'll go into recess until 9:30. It's 9:21.
Hearing rumors from.
Good
budget
morning, it's
committee.
9:30. We're here for a public works update.
Good morning.
Gentlemen.
How are you?
Good.
Don't have a lot for you today. We have our accomplishments discussion. Right now, currently, most of the districts are doing some rock raking, a little bit of grading as they're able. Some gravel replacement, some stockpiling. Culvert cleaning. Some minor ditching and major ditching, all in District 3. Do you have some accomplishments from solid waste? I didn't get any.
Go through your accomplishments for this week.
Solid waste, looks like the litter crew was out.
They were in the Warden area.
We got 5.6 miles, 11 illegal dumps, 23 tires. At solid waste, at the landfill itself, just under 2,000 tons received last week. And all the usual stuff. So,
On average, how many illegal dumps are they cleaning up every?
It depends. If the road districts report, probably 3 or 4 a week. But if we just, I drove an area, I drove all the whole Warden area south of I-90, and that's how many were in that area was that. And then whatever you reported last week.
I'm not sure.
So when you have a group, a large group like that, usually it's an area that somebody drove and got every illegal dump in that area for now. So
Pretty sad that if you average 3 a week.
a lot of it is tires.
Well, they were being collected at the racetrack until they cleaned that up, so.
That's about it for accomplishments. You guys have any questions? Any questions on our consent items?
So we had an update earlier, was Zach Kennedy, our legislative lobbyist. He was talking about not hearing much opposition from counties about a proposal to sweep a public works assistance account. Not even that much from the crab board. Do you know much about that?
That used to be an account that people could borrow money from, or entities could borrow money from. But I don't think it's as flush as it used to be. And it was more of like a loaning. If we need money, we've had to borrow money from Public Works, Grant County has, when we had a shortfall for current expense, and you pay a little interest and, but that's kind of what that, for the state.
Well, if there's no questions, that's really all we had. Jason was here in case you had some questions for the multi-phase extraction, or Amendment 30, so.
And he's on vacation.
Yeah, and he's somewhere warm.
Okay, because it's freezing today. A little chilly.
Yeah. Okay. That's it then.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you. Just a minute, Tom, and I'm going to Google the Washington State Trust Public Works.
It's 9:34. We're gonna go into recess until 10 o'clock.
It's quiet in here.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. We're here for the auditor's office update.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
I just want to say thank you for letting us put our
position out.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's like gonna help us immensely.
well, thank you for bringing it to our attention because sometimes when you look at everything, you're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
we figure it out as we go along.
yeah.
Yeah, I think people have been angry at us if we had to go back to once a week with the Grant County payments. So hopefully we'll get somebody soon.
Just real quick before we start, because we're in an open meeting now. Rob, we had discussion this morning. Carrie came in about the homeless task force of duties, and typically the homeless task force used to be, they would make a recommendation to the VOCC on the division of the, I call it the 2160, House Bill 2160 filing fees, and City of Moses Lake gets a portion of that because of new legislation that happened about 10 years ago. And then the other is split between the Housing Authority and New Hope. And typically that has gone, like in my tenure, it's gone to the homeless task force for a recommendation.
Yeah, we hadn't done that. I don't think they had done it with you as that chair for quite a while either. So the vote hadn't been going to them. We just had kept it status quo.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
Carrie
it's what
came in
we-
and asked, but it was,
Yeah, I mean, it can go to the task force. Task force is running and running well.
I don't know, I mean, that is one of their duties, but.
Is that money ready now?
Carrie just said for the 2026 year, if we want to.
Everyone, you know, if we want to.
It'll be
Change
just
it.
probably the same, but we have a task force meeting this week.
Because I think
Bring
it's
it up then.
60/40 and 70/30
Yeah.
split. So I
Let's
would
just do that.
like a recommendation from them, because when we were active, we did and forth, and we had other applicants that wanted it as well. Sorry, just wanted to clean
No
up some
worries.
business while it was still in my mind.
And we won't do our first payment until February, so, I mean, if you want to change those percentages, we have time to do that.
Updated. So we have-
As far as I know, it's been the same at least the last 2 years.
yeah,
maybe
It's
longer.
been the same for a while. More than that, but yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, our main priorities to get done this week are the quarterlies, the W-2s, the 1099s, and get the budget posted on the website with the final format, and hopefully have the Tyler format available too. That's the goal, to have done by Friday to EOD this week. And so, it doesn't sound like that much, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So we gotta go back and put in the travel back to where it was.
What? I never took it out.
Oh, you didn't take it out? Okay, good.
Mistakenly, they approved that on consent last week. They're gonna do a new resolution next week rescinding that. So we just go back to following the.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be no transfer of those funds. That's fine.
I was thinking you had to take it out of it, that you had taken it out of.
Well,
everybody's Spreadsheets,
I did.
and then now you have to put it back in.
You mean, oh,
Back in the spreadsheets.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard. Because I still have them as their department in one spreadsheet, so I just have to bring it back out. Yeah. I don't think that,
It's just extra work that we have to process to get it posted.
but yeah, the budget,
Mhm.
the final format, yeah. I don't think that'd be.
That's our
No. It's a-
end of the month in a nutshell. A lot to do.
So have you guys had any inquiries for your job position?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I think we have 7 right now. I think there's 7,
That's good.
so.
Yeah, I think there's
So
a,
far, some good ones. I mean, everybody seems to have a little bit of something different that we can use, so.
yeah, what's nice is a position that has a much larger applicant pool. Mhm.
So hopefully we'll be able to get that knocked out, get somebody in place quick.
I guess we could probably start, if we have that many, we could probably start doing interviews next week.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else new?
Huh?
Anything else new?
No, no.
No?
Thank God. We don't want anything else new right now.
No, I still have that to do the inquiries about the pennies,
Okay.
yeah. But I haven't forgotten it.
We just have a lot of
Imagine-
stuff that we have to, try to
Imagine
get
that will
done
be
and
an
then
ongoing
back
deal,
do
So,
more
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, there is something new. The accountability audit will be starting
That's right.
next week. They'll do some planning off-site. They'll arrange meetings with you guys, and then when we have that entrance conference scheduled, we'll send that one out, and invite everybody, because yes, it is one that will be specific or impact departments if they're selected for audit. But you'll have an opportunity, all of you, to speak with them if you'd like as well. They have to do at least one elected official from the commissioner's office, and they'd always do Daryl and Michelle. But if there's any department head or elected that wants to do that inquiry with them, we can set up that meeting too, anytime.
I assume that's a state audit.
Yes, yes. The accountability, it'll be a 2-year period, so 2023 and 2024. Wait,
2024, 2025.
2024, 25.
We-
No, because we're not done with 25.
yeah,
No,
I
no,
think
it's
it's 2023,
23,
2024.
really?
Yeah.
Because we haven't
2025
even done
will be till
25
this
yet.
fall, we'll do 2025. Mhm.
We're gonna be doing some digging.
25 is
Yeah.
not until
This
May.
fall, yeah. Well, this financial will be this summer, July, and then the accountability will follow up shortly after that. That will be
Accountability is 2 years and financials 1 year.
Yes, this is
correct?
an outlier because of all the turnover in 2024. They were able to get a waiver and not do the 2023. Typically, an entity of our size has to have an annual accountability, but we got it waived to be a
Okay.
2-year for this one instance only. Then from that on, the cycle will be annual. And they're all, the financial and accountability are always split a little bit, but the kind of piggyback off work from one.
Any other questions?
Sounds like fun.
It is.
Yeah, I
so
don't know
much
when
fun.
they'll be on site.
Other than an auditor, yeah, when an auditor comes to town.
Where are you gonna park them when they are? Because,
I gotta request something.
yeah, so you're more than welcome to use the new meeting room at my building because it's bigger than Sun Lakes or Wanapum, so they'd probably be a little bit more comfortable. And it's got a room kit and all the connectivity, so probably more comfortable for them than up there, but it's just,
Little
I'm just
farther
offering
for you,
that up
yeah.
if that,
I think prosecutors office probably appreciate that. They don't usually like it when I book up a week at a time. So yeah, thank you. I'll let you know when that sounds like that will work great.
a little bit more room.
It's way better than we used to have to put them in that one room where the freezer was. We remember back in the day, the bathroom freezer section, we had to put them in there one time because we had no place to put them.
And that hallway
Was not
area.
very fun for them.
This one city put me in a small, like, closet with a bunch of dead bees on the floor.
Oh, nice.
So it's comfortable.
Well, and it's a secure space. We can give them a card key so they can come and go as they please, and
That'll be nice.
everybody else that has to come and see them obviously can come in, you're accessing through central services or HR, so it's,
That works for me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anybody have anything else?
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Stay warm.
I know.
All right, we're live. It's 10:15 and we are here for the treasurer's office update. Morning, Daryl.
All right, so we have a 9:30 meeting with the sheriff tomorrow regarding the agreement that we've sent to you. One of the key things is transparency. I hate for us to want to enforce something and where the only person who's ever seen this agreement is me. And all the councils probably may not even be aware of it. And I think if you wanted to do something and spring it on them, I think it's better to give them a heads up.
what agreement is this?
This is the law and justice agreement for misdemeanor costs. So I believe transparency, but in looking at this agreement and what we'll discuss with Joey is this medical costs that this agreement says that the city should be paying. I'm not aware we've ever got any money. And so if we want to start enforcing the current agreement, we need to give them a heads up that this is what you agreed to. And I don't think they're going to be happy if you went back. So if you just move forward, they'll be prepared for those costs that come in and need to be prepared in their budgets to do so. But again, another subsidy by the county to the cities in just this area. So how you determine those costs. But then of course, when we bring up is this $3 million contract. How does medical costs in this agreement? I think there's a conflict. If you're getting an insurance policy type of direction, then this agreement, then you don't have a direct cost to build the cities.
Well, Daryl, we don't have $3 million to pay for this
Okay.
first.
I know, but that's what, if the contract is still in limbo, this may be something you may want to think about.
Commissioners, I just forwarded it to you. Daryl, last week we forwarded it to the sheriff's office, so I forwarded it to Tom and the board right now.
Yeah,
So-
I think
so-
somehow I had gotten a copy of it. I saw it over the weekend. It dates back, well, we've never.
1998, the agreement was September of 1998 was signed by all the cities and the county. And then the sales tax money started in 1999.
Thank you, Barb, for sending that. We appreciate it. Yeah, because we've never done it in the past, if we're gonna start doing it, we need to notify, I don't know if we could start this year or later in the year, but it would be really nice because we do spend a bucket load of money on medical.
And that's why I believe, well, I've been pushing for this agreement to be reviewed for many years. Now that we actually found the right words to look it up and find it. That was one of the problems, is finding the key words to find it in the indexing of your system to bring it up. We're also finding actually a time period. And we were able to get that assistance and figure out a time period to do our search in. And so this is what we found. So things for us to talk about tomorrow.
Has there been any changes to this?
No.
Since then,
No,
that you can find? No?
other than me nagging every year.
Medical was huge, but it's getting to be a problem.
Yeah, if we have a $3 million issue, they talk about basic health. But I think our big medical is something beyond basic health.
Out of curiosity, not kind of on the same topic, but off topic, how many of these agreements or things like this are floating around out there that require that kind of communication between the county and the city?
Good question, because this would have been in '98. That would have been back when Joe Gavinsky was city manager.
I'm just wondering how we could, again, this is something that we could do at the LEAD conference, where you could schedule that time where that you have the representatives to review something like this each year and keep it fresh and not let it, waste away in the background for 20 years.
I don't know if you knew Jim Whitaker, who was the attorney at that time.
Yeah.
He hard-nosed, worked for his client, made him very not fun to have for the county. And he was very particular with his language.
Wonder what was just for gross misdemeanors and gross misdemeanors.
Well, the reason for this is a lawsuit came up by King County against the City of Seattle. Either the City of Seattle sued or King County sued for reimbursement of costs based on a law. The King County is successful, which then we looked at it as, but it only applied to King County. So we decided that, do you want us to sue all the cities to get the same treatment? Or do we want to work on an agreement right now to get our cost reimbursed? It was decided to use this method to avoid a lawsuit and collect monies for us to get paid, where each city, the smaller cities, would have had problems being able to even afford even a minute share of the agreement. So the bigger cities, in a way, were subsidizing their monies for all cities in the county.
Looks like this agreement was just for the city of Moses Lake, right?
No, this was,
This particular one.
we have one with every city. That was what we were required to do. We wouldn't do the law and justice tax unless every city signed it and agreed. And then we had a separate agreement for the Department of Revenue, signed, agreeing that their share would be transferred to the county. Or state treasurer, I can't remember which one. Of course, that was unique on this transfer. A lot of counties were just directly collecting. Some counties just didn't collect for a while. And so, but now this type of agreement wouldn't be allowed, and have to be an invoice process for their share of the taxes. So we're grandfathered in. So I just want to give you a taste before our meeting tomorrow of those concerns of mine. Especially if you have a $3 million contract out there. Was it for very general health, or was it for all the big stuff and the medium stuff, of which this agreement says they should be paying?
And what's the money we get, like 1.8 million, 2.2 million?
We get 1.2 million.
Oh,
The sheriff stated that for his jail at the current populations lately, that we're getting more than his cost. But as you can see in the agreement, this had 5 different departments that were involved. We didn't send this to you? Okay.
wait, Tom,
Well,
you're
I
the
have
one
it
that
now.
sent
I
it
have
to
it
us.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Tom's the one that sent it to me.
Okay.
No, Daryl, sorry,
Daryl sent it out.
Daryl sent it to us.
Then I messed up. Okay.
That's all right.
So we have district court, probation, prosecution, and public defense and then jail and sheriff as the cost involved in misdemeanor costs. All these departments to recover costs that all these departments are incurring. But while the sheriff's saying he's being covered in the jail, we don't know if the excess monies are being covered by the rest of the departments that are also impacted.
Okay, so it looks like the city of Moses Lake is the only one that signed on to this.
Then there's more than one out there.
Okay, September 11th, 1998, Joe Gavinsky.
Yeah, because this is just the one with the city of Moses Lake, because
Okay,
we would
so
made
every
one,
city
we
has
would
one.
made an individual one for every single city.
That's what I was wondering.
So that's the history, of which then we may have some solution for that contract. Because that money is outside the costs, as I read it. It's a separate cost, because it makes a distinction that that is not covered in this agreement, and that the city shall reimburse the county for that.
Have you heard anything back from Barbara or Trevor?
No.
Okay.
So I don't know if Trevor got invited to the sheriff's meeting tomorrow.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I did not, Daryl. I'll be happy to do that.
For treasure stuff, I sent an email to Melissa regarding using a different rate than she did for the TIF module. I haven't got a response, but I heard she was sick on Friday. I don't know if it's just Friday. She is in today, but sounds like not in a good body, well,
Trying to catch up.
is still not feeling great. The whole point is do we use a rate that Clark County, based on the Clark County methodology, is the expert on TIFs, that actually doesn't charge the districts for things? Or do we use the rate that she used, which means there's more money going to the TIF and being taken away from the districts? I don't know if she will even think if this is important.
Well, I think everybody would have a different answer. I would like to keep as much of the revenue as possible, and I think the
That's what I
TIF would like to
figured.
keep as much money as possible, so.
What makes Clark County the expert?
They're the first ones. They're the ones that directed how the software is to be programming to be done. They're the ones that was the key person on all the talks with Department of Revenue on all the facets of it and done the most research
In regard to the TIF,
in regards to the TIF. And I'm the,
regardless of what software they're using, right? So it's just.
right, well, they're the ones instructed PACS of how to build the software. After getting a lot of advice from the
Has
Department of Revenue.
MRSC chimed in on this at all about their rates and how TIFs should be? What?
The TIF doesn't cover a lot of stuff. It was poorly written and a lot of guessing had to be done on how to fill in the blanks. There's a TIF legislative bill that is more geared toward more mediation and discussion and agreements between governments and the TIF and the TIF entity the entity that's creating the TIF. Sort of maybe following up on all the things that went wrong on Chelan County. And providing more of a voice for the impacted districts. But I'm not, it doesn't solve much. And I've been asked the question is, can we slip something in? That's more to address some of these unknown issues. I'm still trying to get answers to questions from the Department of Revenue because it's hard for them to answer a question if it's not addressed in law.
Who would be the mediator? Who would be the expert? If nobody.
Well, that's the thing is in talking to Clark County regarding refund levies and how a lot of them are even for years that the TIF didn't even exist, and yet we're giving monies of those years to the TIF. It seems logical that that the TIF shouldn't benefit from all these refund levies that have nothing to do with within their boundaries and in years that didn't even exist. But that's logic. And that's why Clark County went their way to make sure the rate didn't include the refund levy. But then I don't know where she gets her advice from. Also, I can give you a general, we were discussing the Chelan County is working on an agreement with the Port of Chelan. What generally it will do is that the districts can be, the affected districts get reimbursed by the new construction amount, the tax amount on the new construction amount every year. The process, I asked for him, he has to get permission for me even to look at the document. And he hasn't got that yet, because I'm the one that's been actually helping them a lot on all the little loopholes and everything of the law. Is I wanted to make sure that their contract is worded in a way where the process is defined very specifically and not could get twisted. Right now, they're using very general language that can be interpreted multiple ways. And so if this is really what you intended, let's make the language exactly like to meet that intention. And so far, I'm just waiting to assist them, because then that may set the standard for agreements everywhere else. And maybe we can go back. Because the port is now fending, did not know these impacts in our county. They were told differently by the consultant. And now the consultant seems to have forgotten to do the things the consultant said they were going to do on that meeting we had. So these are the things you need to protect. If we're not going to voice our opinion and fix things in state law, then we need to create agreements that will make sure things are clear and reduce the impact. But all the solutions, no matter what, all the taxpayers in the county pay towards this TIF.
Right. Have you ever gotten a response back from DOR? Department of Revenue?
So I posed a question, they didn't answer it. They keep responding back with laws versus answers. And I tell them, I'm not sure which law you want me, and I'm not sure how to interpret it. I keep wanting,
Well, obviously, they don't know how to either, otherwise they would give you direction.
right now, they gave the advice and now add more taxes that affects every taxpayer in the county. Was that ever intended?
No.
And then that's my question is, if it was never intended, the sponsors of the current bill, how do we reach them to see if they were aware of it? And if they're aware of it, they may want to make some tweaks to their bill.
Do you have the bill number?
I will.
I mean, we can ask Zach Kennedy to do that, right?
Yeah, we can send it over, maybe we can have Zach.
Yeah,
get it
because
for us.
right now, we're dealing with a lack of knowledge by our legislators. So if we know they don't know, how are we fixing that?
Or how about we schedule a meeting with Tom then?
We can send that over.
These are the things we find out, and I think our legislators would be a little shocked of what the actual impacts meant.
Yeah, well, if they don't know, then,
But if we never educate them, then it's our fault.
right.
Who's the best person to educate? You, right?
I can talk to them. But I'm just trying to, but they have nothing connected to the bill. So I don't know who the right people who are sponsoring the bill to
If you
impact.
get us the bill, and maybe we can have Zach
Okay.
research it and figure that out.
All right.
Then we can figure out who to reach
So-
out to.
Okay, I'm over my time. I'll end it by, until we get we're getting our last assessment districts, hopefully today. And then I'll hopefully get an answer from Melissa about is she gonna fix the TIF calculation or not. And I sent an email to PAX regarding, okay, she did it for this year, but what about last year? I have no data. I have no nothing. Plus, I have 41 parcels out of 472 that are delinquent. So it's not where, even if I had the numbers and 100% collections, I know the transfer. Well, I could know the numbers, but then what's the calculations per parcel that are not paid yet? And what's the reports do I get when they do get paid down the road of how to transfer that money? I've sent those questions to PAX because they seem to have worked on the assessor side, but I asked them, we weren't allowed to voice in of how it fixed us.
Did you copy anybody in the assessor's office with that email so they had the?
Nope, not yet.
If you can do that, that'd be.
Yeah, and I was gonna forward that email to the rest of the PAC treasurers, because if they told the assessors not to use the program, and it was in law for years, for a few years, then they have to provide what's the alternative route to get the information when the program's not working. They can't leave us high and dry. So, all right. And so what I'm saying is if we have that from her, we're gonna move forward with the calc. So that's where we're at right now. The assessment districts get in. I've reviewed the levy calculations. The levy certification form shows the breakout of the TIF on the levy certification for this year. And this is the report I was asking for a year ago. To see those numbers. And I never got it. All right, thank you very much. See you tomorrow morning.
It is 10:37. We are going to be in recess until 10:45. The Superior Court update is canceled. Good morning, it's 10:45 and we're in our commissioner work session, 10:45 to 11. Caitlin, do we have anything for our work session today? Anybody have anything?
Rob, do you have anything else you wanted to discuss about the hotel rates for LSC?
No, I was just trying to get more than GSA.
Well, you should get your full amount. I think we've always given the full amount.
Yeah, it's just like in Olympia, it's like 221, where GSA is like 150 or 160. So then I stayed in Centralia, which was, I think exactly. So the difference, I believe, in mileage versus that $40 to $60 difference probably is pretty close to the same. So
We've always paid sorry.
Yeah, typically just ask them for the government rate, and then when they print out the folio at the end, it usually typically states government rate, or special rate. And then you just pay the hotel fare, whatever that is, so sometimes the government rate is.
I know, but I've paid the difference of GSA like 2 or 3 times.
Well,
You
I
shouldn't
think
have
the
to do that.
county should pay for it.
Yeah,
And usually when you put it in there, the commission, I don't think we sign off on it
We
anymore.
don't anymore, but I'm still trying to be, cautious of it. But I was thinking like, man.
Yeah, but you're traveling for county business and you're staying over there for county business.
No, I agree.
We should get reimbursed for it. And I don't think anybody would have a complaint about that I would think.
What else do we have? I'm sure I have something. Oh, Port Moses Lake would like our agenda for DC trip.
Yeah.
Conservation District would like to know what it is.
Yeah, we should have that short up this week.
Conservation and Development League are trying to get me to stay till next week. I'm not staying that long. There's no way.
That's a long time.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't even want to go back. They're trying to get me to go back with them. I don't, dude, maybe if it was like a couple hours away, but it's all day travel both ways, so.
Yeah.
As much as I love red eye and around the country.
Not.
That's my canvassing board.
Did you?
Woohoo.
You can identify a not right
I can
signature?
identify a signature now.
How do I? I think I did my first one of those in person, and then the last one was
Just
online, which was kind of neat.
Yeah, there's like 75 people in there.
So in this round of the NACO training, Kevin and Susie are the only ones. Brandon has not started it, so he's dropped out.
I see there's an email. Oh, he did drop out. So can we reassign somebody?
Well, for the next one.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going, Kevin?
at 93%. I tried to do some yesterday. I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to.
Remember, you can speed up the video
Catch
and it
up.
helps.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some people talk really slow.
It doesn't, it's been good.
Pulling foul is good.
There was not a fast forward option when I did it.
Well, the training that the county had to do, you had to listen to all those trainings, the mandatory trainings. Full video. Certainly I like that talk.
So as far as those meetings, so Rob, we should have those, like I said, short up this week, times, agendas, and I can get that to
Did you
you.
book your flight yet?
Not yet, not yet, so.
And well, I think if you can get your agenda to Barb, and then I think we can post it, so it's posted on the agenda.
Absolutely.
You can come on in. We're just having our update that we're.
What's up? How are you?
Good, and you?
Great.
You're here for PMR.
Yes.
Do we have PMR today?
Yep, that's next.
Just for a little update, Barb was gonna send a letter to the judges. We talked about it in an open meeting this morning. We have a new judge in Grant County. Typically, youth services falls under the Superior Court system. How we've done it, you are kind of a department head under the commissioners. So Barb was gonna send a letter asking them, we tried to set up a meeting, if they wanted to remain the same or if they would like to take over the oversight of youth services. So just want to keep you in the loop since that impacts your office or your department.
Yes. And I hope like things remain the same as I mentioned guys in the past, that, I would rather remain how we have it. Since that agreement, took place way before I was, part of this position, so, yeah.
Was that 2014, that agreement? I mean, it's been a long time.
I think so, yeah,
Wow.
it was a long time ago, yeah. So I don't know any better. I have been, always under you guys' supervision, so I would rather keep it the same if possible.
I think we recently asked them and they're happy with the way it's going, but we'll ask again.
For our work session today.
Oh. Meet with the sheriff. Tomorrow I'll have a note. I don't know, did you receive that email too? There was an email from a constituent not happy over, they had some issues with kind of the health district, code enforcement. And basically they were told that code enforcement talk to the commissioners, code enforcement isn't doing anything or can't do anything. So I did forward that to the sheriff. So I'd like to address that tomorrow with him. I think we got the letter. I don't know when did we get that. Caitlin, I think you forwarded it to us. Do you recall? Maybe we can see what, maybe it just came in because it was in my district. Joanna. Oh, it's from Barb. Okay.
Yes, but I remember what it is.
It's
I will
2011.
forward this to you. There's a big
2011?
email
Oh,
chain.
wow, yeah, it's been a long time.
Forward that to you. No, I think that was it.
We're gonna go into recess until 11 o'clock, back for PMR at 11. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. We're here with HR for PMR update.
Morning.
I'm hoping that our CFO is coming.
Saw her earlier.
And I say that because I need her input specifically on one of them. So, not sure what she did.
Can we talk on the other ones?
Well, I believe Dell is supposed to meet us online.
Dallas, oh, okay.
Just move hers to the end.
Oh, we can do that. Now, are you prepared to do yours?
Yeah, absolutely. That's easy.
Maybe, I don't know.
You?
Yep. Thank you.
So you're gonna have to come.
Totally fine.
Just double tap.
Got it. Okay.
Ready, Sue? Yes.
Okay, so I'm just bringing this request to try to hire a treatment counselor using an existing staff. That means no increase in an FTA for us. So the position that we want is basically the treatment counselor position. You don't need the mission statement or anything like that?
You wanna talk about it?
Well, I just wanted to review our mission statement that kind of go with that. So as Grant County Juvenile Court and Youth Services mission statement, one of our things that we said is like, we want to reduce recidivism and promoting public safety, accountability, and positive change for delinquents, dependent, at-risk youth and their families. We currently do not have any interventions to help any of the low-risk population that we have. And then we strongly believe that if we do an early intervention with those kids, we will actually not have them back in the system. For this reason, I applied to actually have another evidence-based program, bring it back to our county. We have never had anything for low risk, so we're trying to have the coordination of services. We currently do have 2 treatment counselors that are actually doing evidence-based programs, but those are only for high risk and moderate risk kids. So my intention, if approved, is to recruit internally from my department or internally open to Oregon County for 5 days and utilize existing staff that I have to fill the position. So overall, I'm not gonna be increasing the FTA like as I mentioned before. So the current challenges and problems that we have, like I mentioned before, we don't have any intervention for low-risk kids. And if we actually do bring this program on, we're gonna actually try to serve not just the youth, but the families as well. So this will alleviate and hopefully give us a better outcome in the future, so these kids will not come back to the system. Right now, I'm showing a caseload of 168 cases total for just juvenile cases. 83 out of those cases are actually low risk, and these kids are not being served. The only thing they do get is a probation officer assigned to them, and they get, as a part of the CMAP from Old Washington State, they get 1 contact a month. So that's not nearly enough. So this is what we want to bring something to help those kids not to stay in the system. To better serve our growing population of low-risk youth and diversion cases, the Juvenile Department requests approval to add another treatment counselor position to my staff. We currently have 1 vacant position. That is a legal secretary at Band 6. We are not gonna actually use that position, so we wanna utilize that vacant position. And then I also brought 2 scenarios that I'm gonna show later on. If I'm able to utilize my own staff, I have 2 scenarios of a Band 8 and a Band 11 that are usually my staff that, are qualified and able to, if I open the treatment counselor position, to see the savings that we will do. But, some of the benefits of creating this role will deliver us an evidence-based program coordination of services to low-risk youth, which research shows can reduce later justice involvement and improvement long-term outcomes when compared with doing little to nothing than what we're doing right now. And then also we're gonna have a stronger connection and engagement with the families if we're able to bring that a new program to our system. And also one of the things that I did wanted to say, if no one from the department applies, my intention is not to plan to seek external candidates. So we will leave it as is.
Commissioners, in your packet, this slide is in your packet. You guys can look at it and you can
So basically, right now, it just shows that we're relocating existing resources to fill the critical staffing needed. And I showed the 2 scenarios right now as to how much I have in my budget, how much is the legal secretary position that I currently have vacant that I'm not gonna fill. And in the 2 scenarios, it shows at the end of the 10 months, if we don't backfill, if one of my staff gets it, if we don't backfill their position, the savings at the end of the year. I don't know if you guys want me to go through the numbers, they're right there. I mean, they're pretty
So I just want to
self-explanatory.
make sure, so this is kind of based on somebody applying for this job in-house within
Yes,
your
correct.
department.
And like I say, we do have some staff that are qualified for this position. We just want to basically, hopefully reallocate some of the money that we currently have in our budget for critical position. But like I say, it will be open internally for whole Grand County to apply. And my hopes is to just, since we already have good candidates in my department, that they will be able to fill that position and not backfill their position.
And it'll be a permanent position that continues next year and so
Yes.
forth. And you won't backfill that other
Legal
position
secretary?
ever?
No.
So increasing the band will cover 10 months in 2025, but then it's a larger increase to someone's salary for 2026.
No, if you're counting the position of the legal secretary that we still have and we never backfill.
Okay,
So,
but the savings is by
yes.
not backfilling, okay.
exactly,
So you're gonna have 2 positions that you're not backfilling.
exactly.
Thank you for that clarification. Question, Mindy. Okay. Any other questions on this one for budget?
Well,
No.
usually we like a 2 for 1, but now we're getting 1 employee for 2 positions, or,
Yeah.
so it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Payroll, any questions, concerns?
My questions was the backfills.
The backfill, okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
Sorry, I've been asking, it's been going.
I like the $98,000 savings.
Right, yeah. Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Community risk reduction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess we'll just follow along.
Since we're all buttered up.
Follow along. I don't have one for everybody's.
Yeah, one fall through, Commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, we'll get a copy. Give me one.
Thank you.
I'll let Jim and Nathan speak to the particulars on the justification, but this would be a new position, and one thing that we need to clarify on the PMR form is just to ensure that the budget that we had for this position is approved. As far as the comps, I did attach a spreadsheet on the back, kind of work up the compensation analysis. What we found is we weren't able to find a lot of counties like we would typically do in a compensation analysis that were adequate comparables. So we had to be creative and rely a little bit on AI, as well as we did find one county that had the job description, and then I was able to find relatively good comparables in NeoGov, which is our recruitment system, so that we could use those and then use the weighted average based on the percentage or the share of responsibilities they would be doing work associated with the permit tech versus the community involvement side, and came up with a range of 2994 to 3763. So that fits pretty close to within the band 9 to band 11. So the way the position was set up, and there's a job description attached as well, so you can have that to view in your packet. But there'd be two levels, level 1, level 2. Entry level person would come in at a level 1, and then once they're fully certified and they have adequate experience, which would be at the the approval of the hiring manager, they would move to a level 2. So your level 1 would start at a band 9. Once they're fully qualified, as determined by the hiring manager, they'd move to a level 2 and be promoted to band 11. If you guys want to speak to the business justification, I'll let you guys take over.
Yeah, sure. Good morning. Sorry if my voice is a little flaky. I was yelling a lot yesterday. So I'll try not to break into a hacking fit at some point. Appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk about this position a little bit. It's something we've been working on in the strategic plan for the fire marshal's office and that 5-year plan to kind of build out the groundwork and infrastructure. I gave you a handout from the county code, chapter 1507, which covers community risk reduction, and the board gave the county fire marshal the responsibility for risk assessment and program development to address specific community risk. That's been an unfunded until last year and then unstaffed mandate to this point. So sort of planning ahead and building into it, working in that 5-year plan to get where we're at now, asking for that position. There's in Grant County, just a little side note, most of the departments are volunteer in the unincorporated areas. There are some districts that have some staff, but the majority of their focus is on the response side and not the risk reduction side. In the last 5 years that I've been here, we've had 13 fire fatalities. 70-ish% of those have been in homes that haven't had working smoke alarms. Right. So one of the things that risk reduction does is get out and evaluate those, provide home inspections, do those type of things, and then provide through grants and local funding, the installation of smoke alarms and those kind of things to reduce that risk. It's not just fire related. The sheet I handed out talks mostly about fire because that's kind of the face of what risk reduction is and what fire stuff does. But community risk reduction is all encompassing, right? It covers every risk, big and small. I would like to note we do have a response side currently in the county, right? Emergency management, who manages the large emergencies and responds to those emergencies, currently staffed with 3 response people and a chief deputy to respond to those, but we don't have anybody doing prevention, right? So if we can get out and prevent and mitigate and lower that risk, then we have less to respond to. And so this is a good chunk and a good step in getting that done, to start building some of those programs, doing some of that education and some of that outreach in the community to reduce that risk, reduce that potential for problem, disaster, big and small. The other side of that position, probably 30–40% of that work is permit related, permit tech related. Along those lines, last year, the building department did just under 700 building permits, and we did around 100 fire permits, so 800 there. Plus we have the transient resident program, which is right around at full compliance, 450 or so annual permits and reviews and inspections. So the permit side, the building department, right, they function with 3 permit techs currently doing a bunch of permit stuff and financial and all of those things. So if we were able to move the permitting side from fire out from there, that frees them up as well. And, you know, can reduce some delay and complaint and things along those lines when it comes to the permitting side of the operation as well. Anything to add?
Just that, I mean, we have not to this point issued, I mean, so 450 transient residences is our opportunity. We are targeting at 50% compliance, and it should be noted that we haven't issued the 225 some odd fire marshal permits as of yet, like physically issued them. We've, you know, in the SmartGov system. So
we're about 130
yeah.
on that, and we have 1 permit. So we did Crescent Bar condos a little bit differently because there's 110 units. And instead of hodgepodge here and there for people that want to do it now or later with the sprinkler provision of the code, we're doing those as 1 permit, but it's 110 inspections. The HOA is, you know, sending the check and being the responsible party for that, but it covers everything in the building, or all 4 buildings. So we'll be at probably by June around 275 and continuing to move forward. I guess I can say thanks again for the deputy fire marshal position that we hired in November. 90% of what he's been doing right now has been bird dogging this transient program, and he's done a lot of inspections in the last month and a half and brought a lot of people in, and that's going to continue to be a large chunk of what he does until we have a permit person, a CRR person that does the permitting, and then some of that load will shift to that person so he can focus on the inspections and some of the other stuff that he's supposed to be doing as well. So I appreciate your time.
I did have a question, Mandy, maybe you can help me. The budget, the requested budget, it is in there, but I don't see it moved over to the PMR.
No, it's actually included in our budget.
Yeah, this is a budget approved item for the 2026 budget.
Position requested, so.
Yeah, but it was in there. It was approved.
Okay, it was approved.
So I'm just clarifying, there was you were in there, and then we approved a position, a second position. And then you're asking for a 3rd position?
This would be a 3rd position
Okay.
in the
And
fire
I
marshal
don't
side.
recall honestly approving a 3rd position.
I don't recall that either, but.
So
that
maybe my
doesn't mean
seatmates, to be totally honest with you, we didn't really approve. And if it is in the budget, I'm looking at it right now and it does look like there's a person. Just because of all the cuts, we weren't adding new positions.
No,
So-
it was in the approved budget, so
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I saw that it was the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the 3 of you tracking a lot of things, so totally understood. So the original budget that Development Services put forward was a request for 2 deputy fire marshal positions. That was, again, in the original budget, along with an administrative assistant and a file clerk, a full-time file clerk, and we had at the time an existing part-time file clerk. when there was requests to amend budgets and to, and to reduce, we omitted or struck the second deputy fire marshal position along with the capital request for a vehicle and then the cost, of course, to run that vehicle on the road for the year. And that was a significant savings. And we sent in an alternate budget, which included this community risk reduction specialist. So it was a savings of almost $150,000 a year. Also, what happened at the time is our part-time file clerk resigned, and we instead stood up a full-time file clerk. So there was a savings of a part-time employee to the budget, and the administrative assistant didn't change. So along with another $250,000 capital request for countywide water plan, I think the total slash to the development services non-current expense was over $600,000.
I do remember the second piece of the budget coming through. I just thought it was all being put on the PMR, so that was.
Yeah, so the budget I'm looking at has the deputy fire marshal 1, 2, and then the third one, admin assistant has $71,000 in there, and then the file clerk full-time 52,000. So I'm not sure. Sorry, we have so many different copies.
It's been a process for sure.
This,
It has been.
this position works independently, right? This is going out into the community doing.
That's partially in the office doing the permit stuff. And then, there's public education, there's interaction with fire districts, schools, all of those things for education components.
So hiring this person might not necessarily be enough. They'd also need a vehicle.
So no, because it's not a full-time deal. We, the way inspections and stuff work in the fire marshal side, we can share one, we can swap one around. If needed, they can motor pool, carpool one from the motor pool.
I have a question on this position. So, like you said, like outreach in the community, going to the different places and making sure they have the proper smoke detectors. Would this position also be installing them, or would we need to hire that part out?
So that would probably be deputy fire marshal work or working with the community partners, the different fire districts, as they interact and run into those situations where they would have those tools available on their own already to follow that up and then submit us the paperwork and stuff on what they did so we can continue to track.
Thinking of the insurance rates, right? LNI
And the additional cost for installations.
Yep.
Comments, questions? No, but at band 9, it is a little bit more than what was approved in the presentation, but you guys have available fund balance and such.
Yeah, we pulled over 6 and we have in excess of $1 million left in addition to that.
Yeah, so is a solar, because we have $1.5 million of new monies coming in for the solar, is that going to be?
That's a completely different conversation. That's in the 170, which is not reflected in this budget, but.
I'm showing in a budget number 138.
There's some portion, wait, no, hold on.
I'm just looking, the building / fire marshal.
Are you looking at revenue?
I'm looking at revenue, yeah.
Yeah, so there was $1.5 million moved to Fund 170. And so that is solar revenues coming from a number of different streams. And so we stood up a new fund. So we have 138, which is building and fire. We have 111, which is planning current expense. And then we have Fund 170, which is the clearinghouse.
Looking at this budget I'm staring at right now, that 1.5 million did not get moved out of 138. Or I'm looking at an old.
I don't see it. It got moved out of mine.
Okay.
The approved one.
Okay. Can you email that to me?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Again, a lot of it is me trying to track down what budget we used last.
Yeah. The one that I just opened is probably the one that Mandy's working from, and it's the one that I understand to be approved.
Mandy will email it. Can you email it to all 3 of us?
However,
Okay.
170 is not built into this budget. It's still just 138 and 111.
So you have money within, because the building department does not use current expense. They are a standalone siloed.
That's correct.
So the funding would be generated within.
Correct. So what you don't see in the revenues in 2026 is any monies whatsoever coming from building permit fees for solar, which those are in a 170 account, which isn't reflected in this budget,
Okay.
which I can tell you is well over $3 million for
Okay.
2026.
I will have that in just a moment. Thank you, Mandy, for sharing that with the board.
Any other questions from the board?
I don't have any other questions.
Commissioner Jones?
No, we're good.
Thank you for that one. Move on to the next. I'll bring that one back tomorrow. And I believe Dell is online.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
There's those for you too.
Thank you.
So Mandy, where will do I go online? Where would I find the most current?
The current worksheet for each one is still in 2026, as each folder has their own,
So if I go 2026.
the folder, 2026 folder. So,
How would I find it? Just Google.
so you don't have it as a folder?
Obviously not.
So,
What is
is
Clark County?
Is everybody working from the same file that Cindy's working from? So that you can see that?
That's what I was working from.
Click it, let me see, I don't.
The one that she's bringing up now.
Go to your file explorer. Yeah. And then on your
Morning,
left-hand
Del.
side under Cindy or OneDrive.
Good morning. How are you guys?
And how are you?
Good.
Doing well, thanks.
Oh,
Did you have a good weekend?
You see that?
I did. Yeah, absolutely. How about y'all?
It's
Go down
good.
to the-
Good game last night too.
Great game.
That's right.
I don't have a voice.
Okay.
In and out.
Oh no.
And it will be in your Internet Explorer if you don't have it in your file
Okay.
explorer.
Okay, thank you. I just
Are you able to what?
Yeah.
need something to look at.
Jerseys.
I'll
You
say
want to
that.
wear
Thank you,
jerseys?
Mandy.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah.
Fridays.
Wow.
Okay, should we get to this one? We'll talk about jerseys later.
So this position, I'll let Dell speak to the business need and justification, like stated of hiring freeze form. It's actually a backfill for Darcy Alamos. And he or she took another position within Renew as a utilization review coordinator too. And so that's also a critical role within Renew, and that was a lateral. So with her, with her moving to that spot, it created a vacancy, and so this would be a backfill for that. And as far as the business need, I'll turn it over to Dale so that he can speak to that.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan. The substance use disorder treatment provider, the supervisor position, that's a working position. So they do have a caseload. We have 5 substance use providers that are in training. That training takes about 2 years to complete as they do coursework, get supervision training on the clinical cases that they see. And so we asked the supervisor and manager to reduce their caseload by 25% per training that they are supervising and providing their clinical licensing hours to. And so that's why this is a need for us to fill the vacancy here. So there's still a caseload of individuals that are being treated, and we need to provide the supervision for those trainees that are working through their coursework and clinical supervision hours. So yeah, we're asking for a request to on the hiring freeze exemption, so we could post this position and begin recruiting for it. I don't know if you have any specific questions related to that, but that was our purpose this morning.
questions from anybody? Or,
I have no questions. It looks good.
Andy, any questions? Payroll?
Thank you, Dell, for joining
Okay.
us.
Thanks, Del. We'll bring it
Yeah, you
back.
bet, you guys. Thank you. Have a great rest of your morning.
You
You
too.
will, you too.
Bring it back tomorrow for decision. And that is what we have for you today.
All done, huh?
Okay, Master, thank you.
Almost made it through the day. 11:30, I guess we're going into recess.